Fred, by the way, I have you beat. I have been in this industry about 30 years.
Oh, and goodness, you don't look that old.
Well, it's the Miami air. I got to tell you that for the last 20, I have been fully dedicated to this incredible product in the Galapagos Islands. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to share my passion for this incredible part of the world with your guests. And by the way, distinguished guests, no coincidence that you're here tonight. You have been hand-selected to join us today because of your travel history, because of what you like to do, because of who you are. So there was a very small group of people that was invited to be here with us today because we wanted to make sure that this is truly special and unique for you. So without further ado, I want to take you through this legendary journey that awaits in the Galapagos Islands. Celebrity Cruises offers eco-luxurious travel in the Galapagos Islands, and eco-luxury is something that is different depending on who you ask. For us, it's very clear and it's very distinct that we must take care of the areas that we visit. As a company, our environmental stewardship is like none other, especially in such a pristine and incredible place like the Galapagos Islands. I'll give you some ideas of the things that we do that are really different and unique. We have special water treatment systems. We have fuel efficiency that we actually accomplish by even using special paints in the way that we paint the whole of our vessels. I have a feeling that my light just went out. So if I went completely dark, don't worry about it. I will continue telling you this story even without a light. So we have a state-of-the-art recycling system in the Galapagos Islands. We have dynamic positioning, which is actually a system that allows to be in position without dropping anchor. Zero single-use plastics, and even solar panels that help us subsidize our use of energy. But it's not only what we do for the environment that's different and distinct. We also do incredible things for the community. We have community projects that allow us to work with special children. They have great spaces where they can showcase their art. We do activities for the economic development of the Galapagos Islands. We even serve local jams that are produced by local women. We have corporate volunteering. We have a fishery co-op. But more importantly, we have an incredible Scalesia program where our guests today have planted over 50,000 trees. Our guests participate in this activity at the end of the cruises, and it is truly one of the highlights of being in the Galapagos Islands. As a company, we truly believe there's a difference between visiting and experiencing. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why that's important. When you're going to a place like the Galapagos Islands, it's important that you get the information from the experts. And we have hired an amazing scientist that actually helps us do that. Dr. Ellen Prager is the scientist that curates all of our programs, works with the Galapagos National Park, and works with all of our naturalists to deliver what is truly a remarkable experience for our guests. Here she is talking to us a little bit about what these islands are all
about. There are no other places like it on Earth. A place where the surrounding ocean is the undercurrent that creates a unique web of life.
The Galapagos Islands are unusually rich in wildlife, in large part because because of the ocean.
Here, deep, cold, nutrient-rich water is forced to the surface, setting off a chain of events that give rise to a wealth of strange and wondrous animals. The Galapagos lie at the intersection of several major ocean currents, but it is one current that is especially important.
At the equator, a current within the ocean's depths flows eastward, striking the submerged base of the Galapagos Islands. This sets in motion the very essentials for the creation of life.
As the equatorial undercurrent strikes the base of the islands in the west, cold, nutrient-rich water flows to the surface and acts like fertilizer. Algae and phytoplankton bloom, producing the food that fuels the island's life.
The phytoplankton, or tiny drifting plants, are eaten by small drifting animals or zooplankton, which then feed a wealth of other creatures in the islands.
Fish and squid eat the zooplankton and then are the prey for larger creatures.
Birds plunge and dive into the sea, where sea turtles and marine iguanas swim. Sea lions, penguins, sharks, and even whales come to feed.
When upwelling is the strongest, Galapagos is abundant with life. Animals reproduce. The young survive and juveniles grow strong.
With strong upwelling in the west, marine iguanas grow large and dense in population. Penguins and flightless cormorants thrive, as does the underwater life. In the Galapagos, many of the animals are unique or endemic to the islands.
In the Galapagos, the ocean provides the fuel that sparks life. And here, it is rich, wild, and like no other place on Earth.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I do every time I see it. It really puts in perspective how interesting and how unique this area of the world is. Just to set up some information for you, all of our experiences are all inclusive. And I understand a little bit about the Canada market and especially the west side of Canada. And Fred was talking to me about how well traveled this area of Canada truly is. This experience of being all inclusive include pre and post stays in Quito, Ecuador. And the reason we include pre and post stays in Quito, Ecuador is about logistics. You can't get to the Galapagos Islands directly from Canada or any place in the world without making a stopover in mainland Ecuador. And we actually have added a night free. The reason that we have a 2-night and not a 1-night is that the capital city of Quito is a World Heritage Site. We include a full day tour that is fully curated for our guests and exclusive. It not only includes the best of the city, the old town, the new town, it also includes the taste of the city, with the taste of the country through food. Quite an experience that day that we spend in Quito. It also allows us for a 24-hour period for any flight disruptions, because if you miss your flight coming into Ecuador and you're only coming in 1 day prior, you pretty much miss getting to the Galapagos Islands. So this 10-night package, which is our core package, is the 2-night free stay in Quito, a 7-night cruise, and a 1-night post stay in Quito to take care of your flights coming home. So all-inclusive pre and post stays, round-trip flights from mainland Ecuador into the island, a 7-night Galapagos cruise, all of your meals, beverages, gratuities, onboard programming, everything that you need for this experience is included in the price of the cruise. The stays in Quito are also fully all-inclusive to visit all of the beautiful sites. And we also have a 16-night package that continues on to Amazing Peru with Lima, the Sacred Valley, and Machu Picchu, also fully all-inclusive. Your flight from North America, specifically for your area from the western side of Canada, will fly into Quito, Ecuador. We will spend the 2 nights in Quito, visit the beautiful colonial city, visit the modern city, and then we will get on a beautiful Airbus 319 or 320 by Avianca in an exclusive non-stop flight. This flight is only dedicated to our Galapagos guests for celebrity cruises. You will have a concierge that is going to fly with you from Quito into the Galapagos Islands and just bring you all the way through to make sure that you're taken care of from beginning to end. It is important to us that you see it all through the eyes of the experts, and this is why we do it this way. These are all very highly curated experiences. Once you get on board, once we land our flight, we get you through all the formalities, our naturalists are going to be there waiting for you. They're going to take you on buses down to a small pier. Our zodiacs or watercrafts are going to be waiting for you there, and they're going to take you on to the ship because there are no piers in Galapagos. Everything is done via zodiacs. Our ships are always out at sea, waiting for you, never in a traditional port as you think of embarkation ports. This is an expedition. This is going to be a very active experience for you. Once you get on board, we will do a very quick check-in. We will get our luggage straight from our flight onto your rooms. You never have to worry about your luggage, and then your experience will begin. There will be a briefing on board that's led by our naturalists and our hotel directors, and you're going to learn all about the activities for the week and especially for the next day. You're going to learn what type of activities you're going to be doing the next day, what's happening in the morning, what's happening in the afternoon, what you should be wearing, what you should be packing, and there'll be choices. Some areas we have choices that are higher impact, some areas we have choices that are lower impact to accommodate levels of activities from our guests and also to accommodate what you want to do that day. You may want to be very active in the morning, or you may want to be active in the afternoon. And our experiences will include snorkeling from beaches, advanced snorkeling, which we do out at sea from our zodiacs, coastal exploration and kayaking, off-beach excursions, pretty much everything that there is to do with the Galapagos Islands, we offer on board our vessel. One of the big questions that I get asked all the time is, okay, how close am I really going to get to the animals? Am I guaranteed to see them? And the answer is absolutely yes. For some strange reason, and no one really knows why, animals in the Galapagos are absolutely they actually seem to welcome us into their own habitats and territories. But what's really unique is that not only you get access to personal, you will also get very close to your naturalists. These naturalists are going to be with you in very small groups of 8 to 8 people, 8 to 10 people, excuse me. And they're going to truly take you through the journey of why these islands are so important and why is it that these animals are so different than in many cases endemic to these islands. For example, what you see here is an example of the famous giant tortoises in the Galapagos Islands. There are several species of giant tortoises in the Galapagos Islands, and they're different and unique depending on the island that they live in. If you look at the ones you see here, they have flatter shells, they have really long necks, all related to food source and the geography of the area. All very interesting and very unique. Fernandina Island, one of my favorite islands, happens to be the youngest of the islands in geological years. When I first landed here, I actually thought I had landed on home. I was looking at the terrain and saying, how is it that flora and fauna flourishes here? Because aspect of this archipelago Keep in mind that these islands have never been attached to a main body. They have never been part of like the continental area, never been part of it in Ecuador. They came about from the collision of tectonic plates. And then this island, being very active and very volcanic, started erupting. These very unique animals have adapted to live in these islands. And here you see a marine iguana. Marine iguanas are very unique, especially in the Galapagos Islands. These are the only sea-going iguanas in the world. They actually eat and graze from the bottom of the sea. They die. The population of these iguanas is directly correlated with temperature of the water, with the phenomenon of El Nino and La Nina, all very different and unique. You get to see and learn how it all happens. Really important ecosystems that have to do with what Dr. Prager was talking about, with the upwelling, with this current surf hitting the sides of these islands, all of these nutrients coming up. And then these iguanas, then when those nutrients are coming up and there's a lot of food, the algae thrives, the iguanas have plenty of food, and they get to truly thrive in this area. Now, they graze from the bottom of the sea, and then they need to come out and get rid of the salt water that they intake while they're grazing. Interestingly enough, they have learned the behavior where they actually squeeze their stomachs for the water to come out of this nostril. A lot of information that you learn and you get to experience when you get to this island. 3 beautiful species of boobies in the Galapagos Islands. The blue-footed booby, probably the one that we know the most. Very curious, very adorable. They show us their mating rituals. They nest on the trails. You really get to get very up close and personal with them. The red-footed booby is more of a perching bird. It stays off the trails. It perches more on trees. And then the regal Nazca booby. This booby is truly remarkable in the cliffs of the Galapagos Islands, and it's truly incredible to be able to enjoy their behavior and to observe what the lifestyle is all about. The terrain is very different. You can find yourself in a beautiful white beach like the one you see here that looks very Caribbean. The water is crystal clear. The sand is absolutely white. The mammals, like you see here, the sea lions get to play in the water, get to blow bubbles in your face. They swim with our guests. They could also be penguins. They could also be turtles. They could even be sharks, because this area is incredibly rich in animal life. The next day, you could find yourself in a red beach. The next day, it could be a green-gray beach. Again, the geology and the composition of these islands have all to do not only with the color of the terrain, it has to do with the marine life around it that contributes to the sand composition. The snorkeling opportunities are countless, whether you are a beginner that wants to do snorkeling from the beaches, or if you are an expert snorkeler and want to do some of the deep water snorkel. The snorkeling is truly quite remarkable in the Galapagos. We have a luxury fleet of vessels in Galapagos. We actually have 3 ships. We have a 16-guest catamaran, a 48-guest luxury yacht, and then our brand new Celebrity Flora. And I have amazing news to share with you today. Today, we have shared with the world that our Celebrity Flora is the first and only resort at sea rated by Forbes. So we now have a 4-star accreditation from Forbes. We have been winning awards from the time that we started our journey in Galapagos almost 20 years ago. And the true jewel on our crown happens to be the brand new accreditation. way, all of our sailings are now open for booking until December of 2025. So you have plenty of time to make your decision when you want to go. A little bit about our ship. Our 16 guest catamaran is very intimate. It is for true sailors at heart, as our captain always tells us. She is absolutely beautifully appointed. You get very up close and personal with the navigation. She is really remarkable. Our Celebrity Expedition is the ship that started it all for us in the Galapagos Islands. We actually introduced luxury cruising in the Galapagos with this vessel. Originally carried 100 passengers and now only carries 48. The attention to detail is incredible in this vessel, highly personalized. By the way, all of our cuisine for all of our chefs with a fresh approach, a fresh from scratch and local sourcing, plus celebrity favorites. So you get to have both of the best of both worlds. Here are some pictures of the newly refurbished expedition. I love this vessel. I helped launch this product in Galapagos, and she is very, very special to me. And then, because we did so well, and because it was so hard to find space, we decided to design and build a ship that was purpose-built for this island. This vessel is an all-suite ship. She is truly incredible. She has a full deck dedicated to outdoor living. All of our suites have floor-to-ceiling windows and balconies. I want to share a little bit of what she looks like. She's not been sailing for 2 years, and she has been truly revolutionary in the area. In case you're wondering what this was, this is an incredible space that we have on the ship. We have a laboratory. We have a laboratory with scientific microscopes, and we get to have up close and personal experiences with our naturalists and truly get to know the composition of, for example, the sand of the islands that you will visit. We also have something that's exclusive to Flora and to our brand in the Galapagos, which is Galapagos Glamping. If you choose to spend the evening, you can do so under the stars. We will outfit 2 cabanas for you, one for your dining and stargazing experience, and another one for an evening experience. So truly an amazing. If you're thinking about the best time of year to go to Galapagos, and Fred and I were talking about this before you all came on, I always say that the best time of year to go to the Galapagos Islands is whenever you can and whenever you have time. For me, tomorrow is the best time to go. If you Google best time to go to the Galapagos Islands, you will get a lot of information. The truth is that the Galapagos are rich in wildlife no matter when you go. There are 2 seasons when it comes to weather. The beginning of the year, which is our winter, especially for you, not for Floridians like me, is there warmer weather. So if your intention is to spend a lot of time in the water and do a lot of snorkeling, maybe our winter, their warmer time, which is January, February, March, April, would be best for you. If you're more like me, being a Floridian where I prefer cooler temperatures, I like going in June, July, August, September, October, where the temperature of the air is cooler and my hikes are easier. But it all has to do with your preferences. The temperature of the water also fluctuates. It is higher temperatures in January, February, March, again, completely opposite to our weather. Even though I have a feeling that you being from Western Canada, your idea of water temperature is very different than mine. Keep in mind that we are always going to outfit you with your own wetsuit that you will have for the duration of the week and everything that you need to be in the water. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about when you want to go. I wanted to share with you that we have a great promotion going on. That is the 20% of all of our Galapagos vacation, and we include the flight from North America on all of our package. So please do speak to your amazing, experienced travel consultant that invited you, the people that you have a relationship with, to talk about our packages and to talk about what we're able to offer. So, Fred, I've come to the end of my side, and I would love to hear what our guests want to know about.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Susanna. I do appreciate you going over all that information about the Galapagos. So again, I'll just remind everybody, if you had any questions, you can submit them on the chat at the bottom middle of your screen, and I'll look at them here and then I'll bring them over to Susanna. But I do have a couple already, Susanna, so I'll send those over to you if you don't mind answering them now.
Sure.
So can you explain what a typical day would look like if I was cruising in the Galapagos on a package? Are we traveling during the day, I'm assuming they're asking, or are we going in the night, or what might that look like?
I'm happy to do that. So you fly into Quito, Ecuador, most likely. Let's talk about the flora, right? On Friday afternoon, that night is a settling night into the hotel. And then the next day, you have a full day tour that includes your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. You're with your guides and your fellow guests in very small groups, visiting the sights and the sounds of the city for you to really get to know what it looks like and what it feels like. That night, there is a beautiful welcome dinner at a very exclusive restaurant in Quito. You get all of your information about your flight the next day as to what to do with your luggage, what time to meet up, go through the inspections that we do at the hotel before we go on our flight. So we're a clear flight into the Galapagos. We land in the Galapagos Island about 2 hours later. It's a very short flight, only 2 hours. Again, exclusive for you. Our naturalists will be waiting for you. We take you onto the ship, we check you in, and we do everything. We also go through all of the rules of the work. Have an afternoon on board with the circumnavigation of the Daphne Island and an explanation of what they are and why they are important. Then your briefing about the next day's activities during that briefing. Your naturalist will take you through what the next day's activities will look like. We'll actually show you what the terrain is like, what the different activities are in the morning and in the afternoon, and we'll explain the timing. And based on that, you get to choose what we want to do the next day. Then you will go to dinner, and then after dinner, you will choose to go to one of the lounges to listen to music. You may choose to spend some time with another naturalist to have a Q&A session, or you may choose to have a drink, a cocktail, and go to bed. Your days will begin early. We are off the ship at about 8 a.m., sometimes even earlier, depending on what the activities look like. So you may have chosen to do a hike and a snorkeling activity. You go to breakfast, you get cold with your group, you get put into your zodiacs, you wear your life jackets to get into your zodiacs, you will have an explanation of how to get on and off with watercraft. You may have instruction on snorkeling if that's what you chose to do the day before you got over here. So you go off with your guide with 8 or 10 fellow guests. You do your walk, you do your hike. The guide is always with you, explaining everything that you're seeing and the whys, answering all of your questions. When you're done with your hike and your snorkeling, you come back to the vessel at about noontime. for some downtime and lunch. You will know what time your afternoon experience begins. We may take off and go to a different location, or we may be launching from the same location that we're in. It all depends where our itinerary looks like for that day. And keep in mind, all of our itineraries are set by the Galapagos National Park, so we have to adhere to the times that they allow us to be in that destination. So during that navigation or that downtime, there might be another lecture on board. There might be wine tasting. There is another activity in the afternoon, and then by 3 o'clock, we're off again. Again, you may be kayaking, you may be hiking, or you may be going on a coastal exploration experience. You would have chosen that the night before, and you will know what time you go ashore. When you're done with your experience, again, you will come back on. We will be waiting for you with like music, snacks, drinks, and you will have time to spend time with your fellow guests and compare notes and talk to the other groups and share what you saw, what they saw. Then sometimes to go take a quick shower, change, go to the briefing, the next day's activities, go to dinner, and then that evening there might be an extra presentation, there might be a karaoke night.
Wow.
There might be a movie night. There might be some music. So there is your day.
Wow, that's incredible. So there's really a lot of value in it because of all the activities and the naturalists that are taking you in the mornings and the afternoons. But there's also flexibility in there, it sounds like you're saying, because you can choose what you're doing depending on how active you're being. And then there's also some of the typical cruise things that happen as well, like you say, some nighttime activities on board, as well as more educational lectures and seminars as well. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Now we are a cruise company, so we have put in some of the things that our guests tell us that they'd like to do in addition to the very intense activity that happens on land. So it's a great mix of the two on board.
Yes, it sounds very much like that. So can you describe at a higher level the difference of itineraries? I think there's just a couple of choices when somebody is choosing to go to the Galapagos. There's a routing or a loop that's inside and one that's a little bit further outside. And for those that are trying to figure out which one they might choose, is one leaning more towards something than another one is?
That's a great question, Fred. And the truth is that all of our itineraries are equally exciting and full of activity. They're set by the Galapagos National Park, so we really don't have a lot of influence over the islands that we visit. The main differences are because they try to keep the amount of people that visit the destinations to very small groups. So what they do is they allow us this week to visit these islands, and then the next week they allow us to visit nearby ports. So all of our itineraries are equally balanced, equally amazing, and just absolutely fantastic. So I would tell your guests to concentrate on going to the Galapagos Islands, but not to be too concerned as to where they're going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because no matter which itinerary they choose, they're really going to get a very immersive experience there.
Thank you. And that actually, what in your answer there, you were talking about I don't know if you used the word government or authorities from the national park for the Galapagos. Somebody had asked about them limiting the amount of people that are allowed to go to the Galapagos on an annual basis. And was there ever a time where, or is there a time that you've heard that may stop? And is there, like if somebody said, I would like to see it in the next 5 years, is it possible that it may not be able to be visited in 5 years?
No, we sincerely hope that because of our environmental practices and because of how we take care of the environment, that we get this gift of continuing to visit this island. It is remarkable what happens there. It is actually life-changing. And we hope that the park continues to be as careful as they are in how they guard the park and how they regulate each of the operators to make sure that they do the right thing. We certainly not only comply, but we exceed all of the rules of the Galapagos National Park because we want to, because we truly understand how privileged we are to go there. So is there a possibility that it could close? I really don't have any knowledge that it may, but it could. This is a national park and it belongs to Ecuador. And if the government decides at one point that we can't go anymore, we will be very sad. So my answer to that is get going this year or get going early this year because you truly never know.
That's actually a good answer. And you know what? I am glad that Celebrity is paying such great attention, which I knew they would, to all regulations around such a unique and beautiful place. And you're right, it is a privilege to be able to experience what one can experience in the Galapagos. Truly a generational trip, would you say?
Without a doubt. It is actually something that we're seeing a lot of families doing as family units. We're seeing grandparents, parents, and
well, I think I cannot hear Susan anymore. We may, oh, are you back, Susanna? I think
I lost you there for a little bit. Did you hear me?
no, we just missed you after you, I think you were saying it's a great multi-generational trip that grandparents and parents and kids are doing these days for educational purposes for sure. Is that correct?
Yes, tell me if you can hear me now. It is, and we're seeing a lot of families traveling together, traveling as family units that are creating memories and are creating experiences to be shared for the rest of their lives.
Good, excellent. Well, that's, I'm just looking, that was all of the questions that I had in the chat we had in there. Susanna, I just want to one more time thank you again for staying up later in Florida to help us understand a little bit more about the Galapagos. You've certainly tweaked our interest about going there. Like I said, I had a hosted trip that was canceled by COVID, unfortunately, and I might just have to get that back on the books again to go back. So that would be fun. So Suzanne, thank you for everybody that is on the line. If you need any more information about the Galapagos, our cruise consultants will be able to handle and help you with that choices around the Galapagos. They'll be able to get more information from Susanna as well, because Celebrity is such a great, fantastic partner of ours. Susanna, one more time, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me. And my apologies for the technical glitches. It happens, and we try to overcome them. So I hope that it wasn't too bad for your guests. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Susanna, and thank you everybody for showing up. Have a great night.